Hi, my name is Trisha M. Lee, and I'm your host slash tutor slash guide through Big People Things, a show about how to be a successful adult. I'm so happy that you're joining us. That's a sign that you're interested in growing into a well adjusted, purposeful, thriving adult. We'll be here once a week with our special guests, so subscribe and turn on notifications to see when we release new content. And please drop your questions in the comment section. We love to get your feedback and respond. Now, our first guest today is Andrew O'Mealy. Andrew is the proud husband of Jodie-Ann, friend of many, and an avid car enthusiast. Born and raised in Jamaica, Andrew's life objective is to bless people in whatever way he's capable. During the week, for a few hours each day, he's a marketing professional responsible for the development of the Nestle brand in stores. And our other special guest is Dahlia Cole, an avid foodie and friend of foodies with a best friend who was born to be a chef. She has long standing friendships from as far as primary school and is described by her friends as unapologetically steadfast, honorable, and loyal. She has a passion for healthy families and adventure. She's a daughter, a writer, a mentor, a lover of God, and a whole lot more. Dahlia and Andrew, thanks again for being here and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Great, great. Now, today we're talking about friends. If you're happy and you know it, thank your friends. Yeah. Because this is what researchers found that people's happiness depend on the happiness of others with whom they're connected. It's not the result of only a solitary introspection and self-help journey, and it's definitely not the result of the right type of grabber in your marijuana. From we're tiny toddlers until we are big people, our friendships affect how healthy and happy we are. So, getting friendships right is really critical to the quality of life that we will have. But how do you choose your friends? I know some have been coming from a long while back, and they say real, no real, but what does that really mean? And what are some of the characteristics we should look for in good friends? These are just some of the things we hope to find out through our guests on today's episode. So, starting with Andrew, what's your longest friendship and how did you meet the person and why do you keep them as a friend?
Yeah.
And then I'd like Dale to answer that question as well.
Oh, that's a really interesting question. I have a lot of friends, both with varying degrees of seriousness and closeness. But my longest friend, I've known him probably my entire life. When I look back at pictures when I was a kid, he was always there. As far back as my memory goes, um, I've known that person, and we're still connected to this day. Actually, it was last week I was the best man in his wedding. So it really, really and truly blossomed into that amazing last step to date, being in his wedding. But basically, my longest friendship is my entire life.
How did you meet him then? Or you just don't remember because it's been so long?
Absolutely no idea how I met him. I just remember growing up and he was always there, always over the house. He was actually friends with my two bigger brothers also. So he was just a family friend. And his parents were friends with my parents. So he was a family friend. So just always there at church, at home, going out, whatever it was.
So you're born and comes to that friend.
On and see.
That one is
Yeah,
cool. That one is cool. Why do you keep him as a friend though? I mean, is it just the familiarity or have you just grown to see things in him?
For me, the most important element of friendship is a natural connection, a natural desire to maintain connection, to keep talking. You just have very, very similar attributes. I think it was just natural that we stayed connected because we just clicked. We wanted to stay connected. We had similar interests. We are similar type of people, I would say. So it was just honestly the natural thing to do. There weren't any hindrances to being his friend, to staying connected, to going out together. It just flowed. Yeah.
Great. And Delia, you?
So I love the fact that you say your bond comes to your friends. Because I really honestly don't remember my longest friendships, how we met. I'm pretty sure it was probably in the schoolyard somewhere, you're in primary school and you have a friend and probably, I don't know. I really honestly don't remember, but I do have very long running friendships from primary school stage.
So multiple.
But my best
Mhm.
friend I've known for pretty much most of my life. I was calculating, and I don't want to age myself because I'm eternally youthful. But I think my best friend I've known for most of my life, which is almost probably 30 years, and that's
Oh.
my current best friend. But yeah,
Why do you keep
when,
her?
when
Or
you mention, sorry,
oh yeah, why do you keep her?
so I wanted, I keep her because my mother said I was to keep her.
Okay.
I say
Wow.
that jokingly. I say that jokingly, but the truth was when I initially met her, we didn't click. We didn't click. I didn't. I was like, oh, she's a little bougie. I don't know, and I'm more down to earth. But I remember I met her in my at my first year in college, and I had moved to college with some of my high school friends. So you have your clique already. You don't
Hold
really.
on. Just clarify for us, because this is the same one from primary school that you
No,
knew
no,
from
this
primary
is
school, but you.
my best friend, my current best friend.
Okay.
I'm talking about the primary school. We're close, but my best friend is I met in college, in
Okay.
university, right? And
Okay.
so I'd gone to university with my high school friends and had my clique. And I remember my mom met her and said, this girl, stay close to her. And that made me pause to look for, what did my mom see? And it speaks to the value of having older persons who have seen more, done more, and know more than you speaking into your relationships. But I
Mhm.
also wanted to say that if I was to really, when Andrew was talking about his friend being there all his life and being in pictures, if I was to really talk about my longest running friendships, those would be friendships in family. And I actually believe that my foundation in friendships was established in family because you can have family, but it doesn't mean that you have to be friends. And
Good
Yeah.
so
point. Good
um,
point.
I got to navigate and choose friendship in family. And then I saw my parents do friendship well. My dad had friends that were long standing friends, and my mom had a best friend who lived next to us, and she was her friend until her death, best friend until death. And it was so I my foundation in friendships was
Exactly.
established in family. So my longest, to be truthful, my longest running friendships would be in my family, which would be my sister, who I'm extremely close with as well.
Oh,
So
awesome.
that's so interesting. I've never, sometimes you have a lot of friendships and you never really think them through. When you said friendship in family, immediately I just said, yes.
That's
I have a cousin that I was friends with. So he was my cousin, but he was my friend. And
yeah,
it's a similar story to my longest friendship. We've spent a lot of time, especially as kids together. Growing up, he was always there and we'd always want to go over his house and we'd always hang out. So that's a really, really good point.
it's true. And look here,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
where you learn how to do it. You fight it out, and you're still friends. You're still
Yes.
Yeah.
friends.
Because as kids, that's when the conflict will come more naturally.
True.
But then you're going to get some help working through it, and then that should hopefully keep you. But so we have those ones that started long. But have you made any friends as adults?
Oh yeah.
What are some of the things that you do together?
And that's to me or to Andrew. I can take it.
Well, you can continue, and then we'll pick up back with Andrew. Yeah, tell me
Well,
about some of the adult friendships that you've made. I mean, the one in college was an adult friendship,
right.
but I mean, even since then.
Yeah, since then I've made adult friendships. I think one of the things when you asked Andrew what caused him to keep his friend, I thought about it, and I think for me it's a kindred. There's a sense of kinship with the people. You have similar values, you have similar value systems and beliefs. And so I'm attracted to people who have similar value systems to me. Now, that doesn't mean that we will like doing the same things. For instance, my friends love to watch rom-coms, and I absolutely hate rom-coms. I need a shoot 'em up movie, and I need some blood and guts. And they are not into that.
Wow.
But I do it for them because I love them. And I know that if I want to watch something else, they will do it for me because they love me and they'll tolerate it. But we do have a lot of fun together. We because we are similar in terms of our value systems,
Mhm.
the things we do, it makes finding things to do together easy. And so while we may not share the same hobbies, we do a lot of things together. We do life together, but
Mhm.
we have adventures together because they're naturally adventurous like me. And even if they're not, if they don't like the trees, because I'll say I want to go to nature, and they're like, no, we don't want nature. We want sand, and I hate sand, but we'll do it because we love each other.
And rom-coms. Wow.
And
Yeah.
now comes Andrew.
Mhm.
So we have
Yes.
to find a nice
Yes.
balance.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like it's sounding a lot like marriage, where it's not only
Mm,
about your preferences and your interests, but you have to treat your friends the same kind of way if you want to. If you love them,
Yeah.
you'll do that. Some of your preferences you'll give up and just say, okay, today going to be your day. Okay, we'll go to the beach.
Yeah.
Ah, but it's fine. I will enjoy it with you
never,
because I love you.
never seen that response to sand before. Never.
It
Listen,
gets everywhere, Andrew. No, who likes it?
the Blue Mountains are beautiful, and the waterfalls up there and the
Mm,
rivers, they do not leave you with
Absolutely.
things trailing in your car
Yeah.
wow.
bottom. So it's, but yes. But there are beach people in the world, and we love you all. So we
Ah,
will go to the
We
beach.
do. We do. We do.
All right. So Andrew, you tell me about some of the friendships you'd have made as an adult, and what are some of the things you do together?
yeah. So as an adult, wow, it's so interesting calling myself an adult. Yeah, I've made a number of friends as an adult. I think I'm just that type of person. I thrive on social interactions. So I have made a lot of friends as an adult. I think probably a few right now. I would say are pretty strong friends. Some of the things that we do together are, I think at this point in time, we just like to go out different places. Normally we go to the bar, we go to the beach. I have some friends that I'll be probably more consistent with at church. So different friends, and also with different circumstances. Sometimes the friends overlap. Sometimes we just have our own different type of experiences that we share together. But I think it's basically just how we grow through life. I grow with different friends in different spheres of life, just doing whatever it is. I had different series of friends. I think probably between 2014
Hmm.
and probably 2020. I've had three sets of really, really good friends that every Friday night we would hang out. But I don't know what happened. After a few years, one would migrate. Then I have to move to another friend. Then that other one would migrate. And
Oh
that was
no.
happened to me a lot. But yeah, I always had to continue making new friends, or just adjusting and
Hmm.
tweaking as I go along. But yeah, lots of friends as an adult.
Okay, cool.
I have
Dele,
a question, Trisha.
go
Can I
ahead.
ask Andrew a question? Is it allowed?
Yes, man. Of course.
Andrew, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, I have this question. Do you think men do friendships different from women? Because you're
Absolutely.
talking about your friends and I'm thinking about my friends and I'm like, do you think men just typically do friendships different from women?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah,
Mhm.
100%. I've seen it. It varies, of course, but I do believe that
Yeah, but in what ways? And Delia, I'm guessing in terms of how the interactions for you have happened. Because when
Yeah,
Andrew just said friends
yeah,
migrating, and that was it, I had to move on to somebody else. I
yeah,
wonder if there's a okay for men, it's
it's the song,
more we have to
right?
physically connect. No, man, it is what it is. I'm
yeah,
just saying. But
yeah.
it's like your interactions have to be physical. They're stronger in person
Right.
because um Dahlia is also abroad, and
I'm telling
your
you,
connections
my
are you're on the
connections.
phone, you're on the video calls, you're on
Mm,
the it's like it didn't shift much.
We know we see each other every day. We're
Same
like
way.
people at home know. Listen, I'm still the best friend. Y'all come
Yes.
second.
We keep our boundaries. The boundaries are still there. You're safe in her heart.
this conversation is really highlighting different things for me because I think for me, I'm a physical person. I'm
Hmm.
an in-person person. I will never sit on the phone for a long time talking to someone. only my wife gets that privilege because it's just not my personality.
Mhm.
So my friends have to be there. I have to be there with my friends.
Like physically, you have to be able to go out,
Yes,
meet each other in person, boom
yes,
fist or
yes,
play
yeah,
ball
yeah.
or.
It's just how I prefer to socialize. I didn't
Mhm.
choose it. It's just naturally how I am. And a lot of times I don't realize. I didn't even realize until you mentioned it just now. So that's why I found other people to hang out with on a Friday night. I'm
Right.
still very connected with those who have migrated because once I fly up and see them and we hang out quite a bit. But I'm a very, very physical person. And that's why
Okay.
COVID was such a big issue for me because that was a lot of social isolation. And
Mhm.
that was quite opposite to my character, to my personality.
Yeah.
So I have to be there,
And perhaps to a lot of men. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen how my brothers interact with their friends, and it
Mhm.
is early morning football on a Saturday.
Mhm.
So thanks for that question, Delia, because yeah, that's important to acknowledge about ourselves as well, that we do it different, and
Mhm.
that's okay.
Yes.
And something else that Andrew also would have brought out is over time, friendships will kind of go through different patterns,
Yeah.
with movements and with different life
Mhm.
stages. It doesn't mean you're no longer friend.
Yeah.
It just means in this moment, if you got married and you started a family and your kids are now taking up more of your time, or if you've migrated and you've taken a job somewhere else and maybe it's a lot more hectic, we're gonna be connecting a little less frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as long as the love and the good feelings in our heart are still there for each other, the friendship is still what it is.
Mhm.
And it'll probably come back around again. Now, looking at that, one of the other things that can help to make friendship strong is getting through disagreements. So, Delia, you tell me, ever had a disagreement with your bestie or any of your friends, and how did you get through it successfully to still remain
Um,
friends?
so I think you have to recognize that when you choose friendships, you get to choose connection. That's the biggest thing. Friendships are about connection.
Hmm.
And so when you choose friends, you're choosing connection with friends. And irrespective of who you are, where you were born, how you were raised, one of the things that will always happen in life is you're going to have conflict, right?
Yeah.
I mentioned that I guess the foundations of conflict resolution when you're a kid working through conflict in family sort of sets the tone for how you will work through conflict in your friendships. And I've had many conflicts, like deal breaking conflicts with my best friend, my current best friend. And what we established was that we want to stay connected. And so whatever we need to do to work through conflict, at the end of the day, the target is staying connected. So if it meant having brave communication, uncomfortable conversations, we've had instances where when we could not see eye to eye, we've had to have a third party, an objective party, come in to say, okay, this is what this person is saying, this is what this person is not saying. And then everybody retreating to their corner, figuring it out, licking
Hmm.
their wounds and coming back. But at the end of the day, the choice was always connection. You don't get to, just because you are not my blood relation, I don't get to just walk away from you. I'm investing in this, I'm investing in the relationship. And that investment means whenever we have differences, I get to choose connection and figure out how we're going to work through staying connected, even in having differences and differences of opinion. And sometimes I really feel like I want to fight my best friend, and she says it all the time. I wanna punch you. Sometimes you really feel like you want to fight her, but
Hmm.
but we are honest with each other, and we know that we love each other, and we come back to our heart. When I'm trying to determine how I'm going to respond in a situation, I default to their heart posture. Do I know this person's heart? I know that she might have said that, but I know she genuinely don't mean it. She probably said it in the heat of the moment, and
Hmm.
so I need to be able to remember and recognize that in my process.
Mhm.
When you choose connection, you come out on the other side so much stronger
Mhm.
than
Hmm.
when you went into the conflict, because you both know that, hey, we've been through this together. We can
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
I
And
hope I answered the question.
you did actually very well. And I think it's critical to note what I'm hearing in your response is this person is your friend because you already share certain values. You already agree on certain things.
Right.
And we'll probably pull some of that out of my last question a little bit later. But once you know that, okay, this person, I've assessed this friendship, this person and I are friends because we agree on these things.
Yeah.
Every other question outside of that shouldn't be anything that we can't
Yeah.
disagree on and still be okay.
Yeah.
For instance, if you're a Christian and your friend is a Christian, you both believe, okay, Jesus is Lord. Any question, oh, it's if that's not the argument, it's not life and death,
It isn't.
then it can probably be, it can just pass and both of you can have different opinions on certain things and it will be fine. But yeah, I like that you said that sometimes you have to bring in a third party to help you with that. No matter how close you are, it's okay
Yeah.
to bringing somebody to help you navigate through that. And you have the benefit of being a communicator. So I guess that might be a little bit easier for you, but just finding the language to do that, because I think that's where people need a lot of help sometimes.
Yeah.
The just saying, communicating, I love you and I want this to end well, but here's what I really think. But just you keep that in mind
Yeah.
before going into the argument. But
Yeah.
thanks for that.
And I just
Mhm.
wanted to add one more thing. A very good friend and mentor of mine once said to me, I was in the middle of navigating a conflict and I was so upset and I just wanted to call the person and just give them a piece of my mind.
Mhm. Uh-huh.
And I remember her saying to me, so what's the point of the conversation that you want to have? And I said,
Mhm.
I need to tell them how I feel. And she said, no. Um,
Mhm.
if your intention is not to reconcile, then
Yeah.
you don't get to do that.
That's it.
That's
That's
not
it.
it.
Going into an argument is good to know what do you want to accomplish
Yeah.
Yeah.
in this argument. It hard in the
It
heat of the
does.
moment, but you
Yeah.
do need to figure that out.
Yeah.
Do I want this argument just to end with me being right and you
Yes.
being wrong and decimated as a result of it? Or do I really want us to come to a place where we
Yeah.
can be good again?
Yeah.
That I think also is applicable if one friend is trying to take the relationship a little bit deeper. And so I'm going to ask Andrew this question, whether for yourself or anybody that you know, if you've ever thought about dating a friend,
Mm.
what kind of mindset you went in, so why or why not?
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting question. I mean, I've had those conversations already in different friend groups about dating a friend. A lot of people are very hesitant about it generally, but I mean personally, I don't think it's an issue, and I have seen this happen in my life, and I think I was at the culmination of it probably 3 weeks ago when they got married. These people were friends for I think it's probably about 15 years, and they've grown to be best friends. And
Hmm.
they were dating different people, and they would always talk to each other about who they're dating and give each other advice, and they were just really close. And I ended up getting into that friend circle for several years and being around them, being around their friends, and I think one day it crossed my mind. I was like, I think they would actually be good together because I think they both just got out of relationships,
Hmm.
and after knowing them for several years, I was saying, yeah, I see that could possibly work,
Hmm.
and I mentioned it to my wife, and she agreed with me. And funny enough, I think about a few months after, they actually started that conversation
Hmm.
and got together. Of course, the same situation occurred. They had to think deep about, okay, is this something that I really want? Am I feeling a little tingle for you, or am I falling for you in a very serious way? I've known you for 15 years, so I know the nuances. I know what annoys me about you. I know what's great, what's bad about you. Is this something that I really want to go into? And how serious is our friendship? Am I willing to risk it? And I think they
Hmm.
were falling for each other. I think it was that powerful. They said, we want to risk it. I mean, we've known each other all our lives. Um,
Hmm.
let's try it. They tried it. The relationship. went very well, of course, because they already know each other's nuances, so
Mm-hmm.
they know what to expect. Nothing caught them by surprise. The only difference
Right.
is that probably they spend a little bit more time with each other in private time, and probably not for the first, but more private time with each other, just you and I. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
it developed, it blossomed, and he proposed, and we were over the wall about it, and the
Yeah.
wedding was 3 weeks ago. So I do think that it is something that people can consider. It's never off the books, but you do have to be extremely intentional about how you approach it, understanding that,
Mm-hmm.
of course, if you don't want to lose that friend. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we've seen, well, in some of those rom-coms that Dahlia hates, we've seen um
Wedding.
we've seen shows where people will make a pact and just say, oh, if both of us hit 30 and we're still single, we'll try this thing. But I
No,
don't think that should ever be the reason. It
no.
shouldn't be just because I'm single and I
Mm-mm.
feel
Yeah.
hopeless about
Harvard.
getting into a good relationship. I should
Yeah.
try this. It really should be because you've looked at this person and you've seen the values in them that
Yeah.
you cherish and that you like,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the annoyances and the things that you
Mm-hmm.
don't like that you
Yeah.
are willing to live with,
Mm-hmm.
and then saying, okay, let's try this, but let's be open about how we're feeling every step of the way,
Yeah.
so that we can preserve the friendship if it doesn't work out. But yeah, the most important point, as you made, is checking your motives for doing it first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So definitely thanks for that. And even as we're talking about taking relationships from that one level to the next and going through arguments, um, I want to take us closer to our wrap up with just some red flags and some green flags. Either one of you can take it, or both of you can take the question. So give me just three real quick major red flags that say, no, these people don't belong in my life. And three major green flags that say, hey, this one's a keeper.
Yeah.
So Dela, you want to go with it first?
I think I'm probably going to say one and then throw the ball to Andrew.
That sounds
Okay,
good. I'm like three.
So
Let me
I
think
think we're
about
going to have to volley this one, Andrew.
it. Yeah.
that's fine. It will
Teamwork.
probably flow that way. So that's fine.
I think for me, a major probably red flag would be somebody who is just constantly negative. That for me is a major red flag. I need people who are. I need to be around people who are positive. But I also need people who can see, can catch a vision, um, and approach it with hope. So
Mm-hmm.
that's important for me. My friends have to be able to, if they see what, if I have a crazy vision, they have to be able to see it and not say, oh, that's not going to work. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
if I need legs to it, help me put legs to it, or if I need to bring it back down to earth a little bit to just make it practical for me. But I need people who are able to approach everything with positivity first.
Okay.
So for me, that's a red flag for me would be that you're just always
Negative about
and you don't
everything
see, you can't see the positives in things.
in people.
That's
Okay.
take it, Andrew.
As I think about, red flags, all I can think about is what they should be. But I think one thing that comes to mind is probably matching priorities. At what level does your friend see you? How quickly will they um, choose something else or someone else over
Mhm.
you? You have to recognize where you stand in their lives, because if in your mind they are your best friend, but they have probably three friends above you, you're just going to be a major mismatch because you want to invest a certain amount of time with your best friend. But if you're not
Mm-hmm.
at that same intensity of friendship with the
Mm-hmm.
other person, then you're going to feel a little bit slighted. You have to know where you stand, right?
Okay. So the red flag is mismatched priorities
Mismatch
in the
priorities.
relationship.
Yeah, because it may stimulate some level of discord when you think that, okay, we're really good friends, right? But then they are going to, hey, I can't meet tonight because I have to go and do something very menial. I was like, okay, I thought you wanted to hang out with me. So it's something that you have to recognize that, okay, this is where they place you. This is where I place them. and things are not meshing very well. And I think it goes back to the point that I mentioned about things should happen naturally. You guys should develop that kind of bond, that kind of cohesiveness without any sort of effort,
Right.
without any sort of friction, and that is how you're able to know that okay, this is a real friendship, this is a proper friendship.
Okay, cool. Dahlia.
Yeah. So I was thinking, and one of the core things and non-negotiables I have is healthy communication. I watch how people
So the red
interact.
flag would be somebody who doesn't communicate well.
Our green flag would be somebody who communicates,
Yeah.
who,
Flip the
who
flag, it's green.
communicates healthily, right? So it can be a red or a green flag.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But healthy communication is critical. So
Mm.
how people interact with their friends, the
Mhm.
language you use, how
So now,
you
hey, morning, Jankro, how you do today? It's like,
no.
I don't mind that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And I get that at a certain age or at a certain level, maybe when you're in a certain type of friendship, it may work if if you're in the bar. But
mhm.
my core friendships have to
Mhm.
my core friends exhibit healthy communication. They are healthy communicators. We
Mhm.
understand. We think through what we want to say, and we're not careless with our words. So for me, core value communication is very important. Um,
Okay.
I think
Cool.
another flag would be kindness. I watch. For me, it's important that you are kind, and I watch how people treat people who are servers and how
Right.
they, do they
Yes.
recognize them? Do they
Yes.
acknowledge them?
Yeah.
Do they treat them that like they're nothing? That's core for me. A red flag for people. I don't. You, if you operate like that with people generally, it means that you're probably going to at some point do something
Operate with me like that.
that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
Um,
cool.
one other red flag for me, and I'm still trying to find the right word or the right categorization, but let's say probably like a bad personality. So I notice how people operate in terms of their, if somebody's, and it's a little bit difficult to explain, but if somebody has a really hard time controlling their attitude, their negative attitudes,
Mhm.
if they're very, confrontational in not a very uplifting way,
Mhm.
if they're cantankerous, I just have to avoid certain types of people because mm, I don't see any long-term relationships being built on those really and truly negative foundations. So that
Mhm.
would be a red flag for me.
yeah,
Okay.
personality is a big thing. I agree with Andrew. Personality is a big thing.
All right.
Um,
So I feel like that gave us quite a bit. I mean, negativity, poor communication, uh, lack of kindness, bad personality, mixed priorities, and any of those red flags also could be flipped to say, "Hey, make me a priority. Speak positive things into my
Mhm.
life, encouraging things, things that build me up. Be kind to me. Make our friendship a priority." Those kind of things are some of the characteristics that we can look for when we're checking out our friendships.
mhm.
Yeah.
So, any brief closing words of encouragement for
So
our audience before we wrap up?
I was saving one point for green flags. I was hoping you'd ask that.
Oh no, well, go ahead. Add
I
your other green flag.
personally, for me, a major green flag is someone's spirituality. For I'm a
Mm,
Christian,
mhm,
so
mhm.
I
Yeah,
require my not require, but it's strange, because I do have many friends that are not Christians, but not even just being Christian, but having some level of spirituality, positive spirituality, recognizing, acknowledging God, and aligning your life with things that are right,
yes,
um, is a green flag for me. When I see one of my friends praying, it's a green flag. Whenever I recognize they avoid certain unrighteous situations or conversations or things, and they avoid those type of unrighteousness, that's a green flag for me. I say, okay, you're grounded. You're grounded in Christ, and know that really and truly produces good fruit. So I'm like, ding, that's a major green
Major
flag.
green flag. Yeah, and
I
that
just
should be
want to add that.
That's it.
critical. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Definitely critical, especially coming out of our last episode where we spoke about the one in the middle, the one who grounds us, the one who keeps us,
Mm,
that
yeah.
anchor.
Yeah. Yeah.
If whatever friendship you have to be on the same path in that regard. Or yeah, you're gonna have all kind of different views about things that are gonna just breed arguments unnecessarily. So, with that, do I take that as your wrap up, or that was the last green flag, and you want to
That
just
was
go
my
into
last green
your
flag.
okay, cool. So then, what's your final words of encouragement for our audience
um,
before we close out?
so I think that friendships are absolutely critical. They shape you. They help to sustain you. They are they are God given, and I do believe that your friendship is not your friendship unless it is a beneficial friendship mutually. Right? Again, I'll always say this, and I think it's one of the core things for me for friendship. It has to happen naturally. Right? I've moved to another area now where I'm not able to physically see most of my friends, and I am looking for friends. I'm looking for new friends that I can go out and hang out with. But I'm not trying to pull it out of people. I'm not looking at people and trying to bring them into my circle. I want something to blossom naturally, and that is where all of my good friendships have originated from. Just that natural inclination, a natural attraction to each other, that alignment with your personality, alignment with your values, someone that just drives joy and positivity and happiness within you naturally by being who they are. And so friendships should not be work unless you're doing some conflict management. But even the initiation of friendships should come without any sort of force, right? And
Mhm.
I don't think people should be too perturbed if they're having a issue finding good friends. I mean, meaning if it's taken a little while, it may take some time, but never ever fake a friendship. That's not sustainable. Friendship should never be work. Again, it should be mutually beneficial. And again, it is a gift. It is a blessing. So your friendship should make you smile. When the message coming on your phone, it should be, hey, wagwan. It should
Yeah.
evoke that kind of energy, that kind of response.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it's maybe a detractor to your time, to your energy, to your life. So you have to be very, very conscious of that. But yeah, so that's my closing words.
Okay, Delia, over to you.
Um, if my closing words to anybody who is thinking about friendships is one, the first thing is um, you have to be established in yourself. So you have to know who you are. Knowing who you are, you know what they say, that you attract who you are.
Hmm.
And so it starts with you being healthy, having a healthy perspective of yourself, knowing who you are,
Yes.
knowing the kinds of relationships that you want to have, and then the outworking of that is friendships. If I'm healthy, and if I have a healthy perspective of myself, and I know how I want to be treated, I know how I will treat people, then my friendships will be a reflection of me. And that's what I would say. I agree with Andrew that friendships come naturally. That once you are clear about who you are, you will find that you will make friends
Oh yeah,
very easily,
Right.
definitely.
and
You'll settle into that.
you settle into it.
Great. So know
But
yourself, and then
right,
um,
and
just
your
relax
friendships
into
will
it.
come, and you don't need to you at some point you're going to have to work in terms of just to maintain connection, because every relationship has some sort of work to it. But
Right. Hmm.
once you know who you are and you attract people who are like-minded, then it becomes easy.
Right. Good.
Yeah,
Thank you. And I
definitely.
think for my final thoughts in that regard is it's be okay as well in switching through friends. I
Mhm.
think one of the things we are sometimes scared to do is let go of some of the unhealthy people in our lives. But
Yeah.
it's okay to give a little less time to them, so that you can make time for the healthy ones.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, in wrapping up, I just want to share there, Professor Robert Waldinger, Waldinger,
Mhm.
Waldinger. of Harvard Medical School says taking care of your body is important, but tending to your relationships is a form of self care too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm encouraging our audience to cherish the good friends that you do have. Limit your time with the not so good ones and work on being a good friend yourself. So thanks again, Andrew and Dahlia, for sharing with our students.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me. Yeah,
And
it's a good
thank
one.
you, our students, for watching. You can connect with Dahlia at her social media link in the description below. And please subscribe. Hit the button now and share the link everywhere. There are a lot of other young people who need this information and who want this kind of help. You can also follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and LinkedIn at Big People Things. Ask your questions in the YouTube comments and we'll respond. We really would love to get your feedback. And it's our prayer that you found the show helpful. So we will leave you with this quote. Good people are careful about choosing their friends, but evil people always choose the wrong ones. Proverbs 12:26.